Greetings, Warriors faithful. Drop that like button into oblivion and subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report immediately, because tonight we're talking about a seismic shift that could transform Chase Center into a literal fortress. Imagine this: a towering, versatile forward who seamlessly switches from guarding big men in the paint to gobbling up rebounds, all while spotting up on the perimeter and draining triples. Picture him crashing the glass one moment, then sprinting out to knock down a corner three the next, an athletic marvel whose skill set seems tailor-made to dovetail with Stephen Curry's unparalleled shooting. But hold off on grabbing your jerseys just yet, because I'm not naming this game-changing baller until the perfect dramatic moment. Patience, my friends, will make this revelation all the sweeter. Let's set the stage. It's late May, and the ink is still drying on another heart-wrenching playoff exit. The Warriors' season had its ups and downs. Flashes of brilliance from Curry and Klay Thompson, moments of defensive dominance courtesy of Draymond Green, but also too many nights when the bench failed to deliver. The buzz around the Bay was that if Golden State wanted to keep pace in a ruthless Western Conference, they'd need to add size, versatility, and two-way prowess. Enter the rumor mill. Whispers of conversations between the Warriors' front office and a certain Dallas Mavericks big man's camp. Could this be the 9th championship-winning move that finally tips the scales back into Golden State's favor? Whispers began at the Combine, but they've only grown louder since. Scouts and executives at NBA Summer Leagues have been overheard speculating. Word is, Golden State is willing to part with one of their prized young wings to land that stretch four, who can guard 1 to 5 positions. And when you dig into the details, it starts to make sense. The Warriors need that extra rim protector and floor spacer, a unicorn who can exploit mismatches and give Kerr's squad fresh offensive dimensions. They crave a player who, over the past season in Dallas, showed impressive per-36-minute numbers, flirting with a near double-double, hitting triples at a clip exceeding 36%, and logging enough defensive box-outs to make your heart pound at the mere thought of the matchup nightmares he could unleash. Now, imagine this mystery forward stepping onto the hardwood in Golden State's colors, gliding down the lane to finish through contact, then sprinting out to the arc to launch a catch-and-shoot triple. Envision his supreme basketball IQ, anticipating seams in opposing defenses and slipping into the right spots for easy buckets or timely deflections. Envision him standing in the corner when Steph surveys the floor. No hesitation, just pure confidence in his stroke. Close your eyes and picture the symbiotic chemistry. Curry's gravity dragging defenders outward. The defense's late rotations leaving this forward all alone for a clean look. He buries it. That splash is interlaced with an emphatic "yes," echoing off the rafters because Bay Area knows exactly what's coming. Let's rewind to last season and dissect why this rumor has legs. Dallas, fresh off a roller coaster playoff run that ultimately went sideways, found themselves weighing the value of their versatile junior forward. He showed glimpses of stardom, averaging double-digit points per game, snagging nearly 6 boards, and dishing out over 3 assists. He thrived in the pick and pop, sizing up defenders before sweetly stepping back and unloading. It was a perfect complement to Luka Doncic's hero ball style. But the Mavericks, itching to retool and accommodate their own star's evolving needs, suddenly viewed this forward as expendable. Meanwhile, Warriors brass recognized a familiar profile. A high IQ, multi-dimensional player who could slide seamlessly into Kerr's motion-heavy system. Rumors circulated that the Mavericks set their asking price at one of Golden State's most promising young wings, a sharpshooter who averaged around 14 points per game as a rookie, showcasing tantalizing glimpses of ice-cold shooting. Add a future second-round pick on top, and bam, you might have a package that tempts Dallas into the deal. If this blockbuster goes down, Golden State fans could witness something extraordinary. A rookie phenom scrapping and hustling for spot minutes on a young contender-worthy Mavericks team, while his former suite mate in California elevates a championship-caliber roster. And Curry, fresh off another All-NBA season, would suddenly have a new weapon who thrives in the gravity well of his shooting range. But what about the mechanics? How do the Warriors carve out cap space to absorb a $46.5 million salary? Persevere, because the plot thickens. Warriors analysts suggest a three-pronged approach. First, a sign and trade that nets back a veteran with an expiring contract. Someone like Otto Porter Jr., who could be bought out and stretched across future seasons. Second, a savvy use of mid-level exceptions to add veteran wing depth and maintain bench cohesion. Third, a rumored opt-in decision in mid-June that enhances the flexibilities around Golden State's so-called tax apron. Combine all three, and you've got a backcourt that can still run small ball lineups with Draymond, Klay, and this newcomer, rather than coughing up precious cap room to hostage square up on less versatile big men. Picture coach Steve Kerr pacing the sideline during a high-stakes game, miking up to give that cryptic grin before calling a timeout. He glances over to observe his forward mob sweeping on the break. He's mixing it up, slashing to the rim, and bounces back, eyebrows arched, as the crowd senses something big is coming. That, Warriors fans, is the type of energy that electrifies a city. And even as we let this rumor simmer, the local media outlets scramble for quotes. What would this mean for Wiggins? For Klay? For the bench chemistry that's been our bread and butter? And every quotation marked out, every skeptical headshake from pundits, only stokes the fire in our hearts. Let's talk fit and impact. When this forward slides in next. To Draymond, he doubles as a help defender who can roam and hedge pick and rolls, then anchor the rim when rotations collapse. On offense, his mid-range game affords spacing, and his willingness to pitch assists makes him a natural facilitator during second-chance opportunities. For teams trailing Golden State's juggernaut backcourt, these skills could spell utter dismay. Rotations would be late, wings would be caught flat-footed, and shot charts would light up red like a Bay Bridge at Christmas. Meanwhile, Dub Nation. Twitter flares with gifs of his defensive chants. Online message boards erupt with highlight reels of games where he dropped 20 points, 10 rebounds, and a handful of dimes, all while altering multiple shots per contest. Remember how Draymond championed positionless basketball? Well, this forward embodies it. He can guard 4 spots on one end and stretch defenses on the other. Curry's gravity is unmatched, sure, but when teams collapse on Steph, someone has to punish the interior. Who better than a forward who stood Montana pillars of defense last season, averaging nearly 2 blocks and 2 steals per 36 minutes. The mere presence of a chase-down variant like that causes a fence to hesitate. Bodies pause mid-air, shots end up at the rim slower, and the thud of a contested layup echoes across the floor as our defensive anchor swoops in. Of course, this hinges on the final yes from the Mavericks front office. Their GM, famed for savvy trades and cold-blooded calculations, has reportedly been dangling this forward's name in league circles since February. Sources say he's intrigued by the promise of a potential sharpshooter and draft pick haul, a fresh infusion of youth to complement their budding backcourt. But Kansas City's star coaches warn, holding on to a wild card like him could mean playoff success. Shipping him for future assets? That's a gamble on timeline, a bet on scouting reports and draft dreams. Which path will Dallas choose? The suspense is palpable. Now, Warriors Nation, let's entertain the potential pitfalls. Meltdowns have happened before. Remember when adding Kevin Durant shifted chemistry, forcing everyone to recalibrate shot distributions? Yes, that resulted in championships, but there were growing pains too. Could adding this versatile forward upset the hierarchy? Might Curry defer more than usual? Will Klay accept a perch as third wheel on a lineup where someone else demands double teams in the post? These questions swirl in post-game shows, ignite debates on podcasts, and fuel fan epiphanies at local watering holes. Some purists cry foul. We built this on unselfish play and epic ball movement. Adding a high-usage forward might break our flow. But others roar back, talent supersedes everything. Give me another all-world playmaker every day. If this trade crosses the finish line, mark your calendars. The Warriors could enter next season with legitimate threats at all 5 positions. An all-NBA backcourt anchored by Curry's transcendent shooting, a savant like Green engineered for defense and playmaking, a newly confirmed two-way titan in the front court, plus the returning veterans who grasp magnifying glasses to scout. Weaknesses. Suddenly, the Western Conference gauntlet feels more like a mere speed bump between Golden State and Destiny. Will Lauri Markkanen or Anthony Davis be enough to slow this juggernaut? At least that's the question facing every West contender as they watch the trade deadline fly by. Now, let's fast forward to the playoffs. The Warriors' first-round opponent, the Memphis Grizzlies, boasted young defensive phenoms who thrived on disruption. But Washington's mere presence on the court forced Memphis to reconsider its game plan. Would they switch their best defenders onto him, thereby loosening coverage on Curry? Or would they double-team Curry and leave Washington wide open at the arc? In Game 3 of that series, Washington nailed a franchise-record 7 threes, finishing with 34 points. His mid-range floater over Desmond Bane in crunch time became an instant classic highlight. It was a microcosm of what Warriors fans had envisioned, a two-way force thriving under playoff pressure, seamlessly blending into the existing core. By the Western Conference Finals, the discussion shifted from "Can the Warriors win?" to "Can anyone really stop this juggernaut?" Even opponents conceded that the depth chart, once viewed as a potential Achilles heel, had become a strength. Veterans embraced smaller roles, understanding that their main job was to maintain the lead and allow Curry, Thompson, and Washington to close out games. Teammates often went on record stating, "You can't underestimate the confidence boost that PJ brings. He embodies the culture we built here." In a league where chemistry can crumble overnight, this group felt almost untouchable. Of course, there were moments that tested their resolve. In Game 5 against the Los Angeles Clippers, Washington suffered a hyperextended knee late in the third quarter. A hush fell over the arena as trainers rushed to his side. Warriors fans held their collective breath, fearing the worst. Yet true. To his resilient nature, PJ hobbled back on defense before limping off to the locker room between quarters. He returned in the fourth to hit a game-winning corner three, a shot that was as gritty as it was beautiful. As Warriors faithful roared, commentators across the country marveled at his toughness, noting that his willingness to play through pain unified the team in a way few expected. Now, as we stand on the precipice of the finals, the skepticism that once lingered has given way to unbridled confidence. The narrative has shifted from "Can Golden State afford to trade for Washington?" to "Could any team afford not to have him?" The Cavs, the East's top seed, have prepared for lineups featuring PJ's hybrid skill set. Yet no matter how they scheme, Washington's combination of size, shooting, and defensive instincts remains a nightmare to contain. And for Warriors fans, this iteration of the team feels like destiny incarnate, a harmonious convergence of championship DNA and the raw athleticism of a rising star. So here's the million-dollar question. Look at what this franchise has become, now that PJ Washington's silhouette is etched into the end-of-game draw. With Curry's unparalleled shooting, Thompson's off-ball wizardry, Green's defensive orchestration, and Washington's two-way brilliance, do you believe this will be remembered as the greatest Warriors team ever assembled? Because as a die-hard dub, I can't help but feel that we're witnessing something historic. The only thing left is to see if the confetti falls in our favor once more. But what do you think about all of this? Personally, I'm still pinching myself at the prospect of PJ's thunderous putbacks and swishing triples under the Bay lights. As a lifelong fan, I believe this core has a special synergy that transcends statistics, a chemistry born from mutual respect, relentless work ethic, and the hunger to reclaim the throne. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below and see whether you think this move cements a new dynasty or simply adds another glorious chapter to an already legendary tale. If you enjoyed this deep dive into how definite PJ Washington's arrival has transformed Golden State, smash that like button, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a moment of our championship journey. Until next time, stay golden.